Like, so I was about to make a
No,
response for
they don't
Shaolin,
have a drive really.
and then I saw Steven's last video, and I'm like, well, fuck it, might as well just comment on that as well. Kill two birds with one stone. I was
They're
laughing, but
looking for somebody to take
it's
care of
funny
them,
as hell.
and they themselves offer
Totally.
nothing to the table other than debt, and they don't want to cook or clean. They don't want to do anything. They don't even want to wash their own fucking clothes. That's how sad it is, right? My take is it on this. He's correct, and that's why I tell a lot of these older guys that date younger chicks. I'm like, you're gonna marry that chick, really? You're not gonna marry a chick that's maybe close to your age or a little bit under, and that probably does cook and clean, because back then, if you're an older guy right now and you're watching this video, back then those younger women did that. They don't do that now. They don't go. They don't clean. They don't do nothing.
All right, so what I have to add to the discussion is, yes, you're right. Women don't do shit like that no more. But the question that I have is, was it appreciated when they used to do it? Because a lot of these older guy, they now wants to complain about young chicks, how they don't know how to cook and clean and all that stuff. Like the your friends that you mentioned, that's about like what, 40 something years old and still dating chicks between 18 to 25. That's like, dude, time flies so fucking quickly, right? My daughter right now, she's 16. So therefore, those broads that you expect them to actually have wifey um maturity, or more like, yeah, you want them to have wifey qualities, but you don't want to offer the husband quality, because he's 40 years old. Him saying that, oh, this chick don't know how to cook and clean, is just another excuse add on to the arsenal as to why he just wants to remain a fuckboy. Nothing wrong with that, dude. There's nothing wrong with, because not everybody was supposed to be in a relationship. Not everybody's supposed to be husband material or wifey material and all of that stuff. But just be honest about it. And now you want to complain that these young chicks don't want to do the the thing that a wife should do. It's like, come on, man. They're not gonna do this shit because the women that used to do it, they still wasn't being chosen. They were still being. I can get way more money shaking my ass on Instagram, and then and these whole bunch of sucker ass dude wanna fucking asking me that. Oh my god, I wanna marry you. You're so beautiful. So they're hooked to the game the same way that we hooked to the game. How to get pussy quicker. So it's always a revol. Listen, we're always evolving. We're always evolving. It was a point. There was a time where women had to try really hard to close their legs, and then hoping that their virtuous nature would actually get them a good guy. And when you realize that doesn't happen, so now you have good women. She ain't giving you no pussy. You gonna go to the next person or the next chick that's gonna give you some pussy. So all she could hope for is, I'm gonna give this dude some pussy. I really like him. I hope my personality stick, and then therefore he will choose me amongst all these other hoes that he could be easily be fucking. you know, Fucked up. It is fucked up. There's like no cultural, like, there. All right, let's keep going because I like this video. He had me laughing for a minute. All right.
And then they will turn around and sit there and say, well, I'm looking for a man to do this. I'm looking for a man to do that. I'm looking for a man that's 6 feet tall and rocking abs. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for an ambitious man. Okay? That's fair. You have your type. But what do you bring to the table? Nothing. And I notice like a lot of women under 30 are like this, man. It was even my mom was telling me this just a week ago. She said these young women have no ambition and no drive to do anything, not even the basic necessities. All right, when I went to Subway the other day, there was a 16-year-old Caucasian woman that was working behind the counter. And I used to work at Subway. When you make a tuna sandwich and you switch to a meatball marinara, you have to clean that knife, to wash that knife, and then cut the meatball, because you can't mix the tuna with the meatball. You can't do that, especially if it's between customer orders. You just rinse the knife, use a towel or whatever that's there, or a paper towel, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
just swipe it a couple times after you wash it, and you're good to go. And then you slice it, right? You do that in between orders. When they asked her to do that, she threw a fit. She said, I didn't. She said, my mom and dad never made me do this. I don't know why I have to sit there and wash dishes. And I said to myself, so you're 16 years old and you got your first gig, you got your first job, and you're
uh,
telling me, well, let me see if I grasp this concept thoroughly. You're telling me at 16 years old you can't wash a fucking knife between sandwiches? Are you that?
uh, look, um, Western culture, a lot of people. Okay, what we are witnessing right now is it's like another phase, a new phase of the empire, to which America became America because they had the drive, the they had the drive to go out there and conquer, and hard work and dedication. I mean, I'm not even speaking on taking advantage of all the culture. But the drive and dedication was there. So to the point now the culture became so vast and so materialistic. So now each generation, they kind of lose that fire, they kind of lose that drive, to whereas the girl that you're speaking of at Subway was nothing more but daddy's little princess that for the first time had to actually go out and earn her fucking makeup money. So now, like, a lot of these chicks ain't worth a piss. That's why a lot of people now are actually going outside of the Western culture to actually date, especially when they want to do something serious. Um, like, not even Western Europe. People don't even want to deal with women from Western Europe. As a matter of fact, a lot of women don't want to deal with men from Western Europe neither, or America, or whatever. It's all about like the lack of culture and the spoiledness, and the shallow attitude that you are presented. It's it's no, it's not good for the long term, for any long term relationship. Now, speaking of, all right. So now, speaking of long term relationship, I had the chance to check out Shaolin's video, which was fucking awesome, man. He had a lot of great points to make about about female nature and the whole 80-20 rules. So I liked it, but what I wanted to add on to that was the loophole that we had found a way to we created a loophole in the whole 80-20 rules. What I mean by this, right? Back in our primitive age, um in order for you to be considered that alpha male, you have to be able to defend yourself, defend your family, provide, and all that shit, right? Because it was a dangerous time. As the more we become civilized, the more we actually can handle our dispute from a third party. So where you don't have to go out there and actually get your revenge. You don't have to go out there and actually try to kill somebody for your wife's honor or for your daughter's honor and all that shit. You ship that shit out to the police for the police to handle. But doesn't mean that this animalistic instinct still doesn't play a huge role, and it plays a very big role in female nature. That's why you have the guy that looks tough, that can kick your ass and all that shit. For some odd, not for some odd reason, he gets a lot of pussy because he's tough. you know, until a smart motherfucker know how to invent a gun. But the loophole, the loophole is this: growing up, especially men. Men, we had to find out what sort of gift that we have in order to actually give us an advantage when it comes to dealing with the opposite sex. So, for example, after a couple of ass whooping, I realized that hey, I can fight, but I'm not the best fighter. So, what other skills do I have? I'm good at math. Boom. I'm good at art. I'm definitely good at art. So then, in that 80-20 rule, I become the top 20% of as an artist. I'm confident as fuck when it comes to my pen work. Woo! And what else? But that's not good enough to make you, to help you deal with women. No, is it? That's true. But I'm also charming. My I don't want to say my mouthpiece because I'm not the I okay. But before I get to my personality, I want to say this, right? So, guys in general, they start to find out what they're good at, what they can actually help them create their mark in the world. If you're gonna be a carpenter, be the best fucking carpenter you can be. If you're gonna be a poker player, be the best fucking poker player you can be. If you're gonna be a fighter, be the best fighter you can be. If you're gonna be whatever you decide to do, you try to be the best at it when it comes to that skill. And then therefore, whatever the field that you find yourself in, some women gonna be attracted to the best artist, to the best carpenter, to the best plumber. I'll clip a bitch pipe up. Maybe take that back. I'll clean my wife's pipe all day. so so then therefore that's a way you actually now skip the 80-20 rule. The reason why the 80-20 rule is so prevalent in the West is because Western culture are acting more based on a primitive instinct. What I mean by this, right? Women in Eastern Europe, let's say South America, all these other places, their their culture had trained them to actually spot potential in men. Who's the best provider? How can this guy be able to take care of your family? How can he do this? How can he do that? So then, therefore, now if the woman's gonna get herself with a carpenter, obviously she's gonna try to get the best carpenter ever. So the type of skill that would make him a valuable member to society, and that would actually make him stand out. So then that skill now would always be he will always be able to provide for his family with that skill. But when you're dealing with a culture that is more primitive based, that is more about the flesh, that is more shallow, which any fucking job you have, a woman can take care of herself. She can work at McDonald's and whatever assistant she might need to actually cover the rest of the money. And if that doesn't work, all she got to do is, pose on Instagram and you have like motherfucker just throwing money at her. So then, therefore, there's no need for her to actually know how to spot any other potential than just nothing than any other that has to do with the physical. So that's why a black chick would actually consider a motherfucker that's very intelligent and knows how to build a business from ground up, but she would look at him as, girl, he's lame. And then while other culture will just jump through hoop to be like, what? What? I'm gonna get me this motherfucker. Like when you ask, like if you ask my wife, right? And whenever like from time to time we would get like trolls and shit like that because we're in an interracial relationship. She was saying that, well, nobody had him. I saw the opportunity and I took him. You mad at that? So, and the thing is like a lot of that's why like making videos about black chicks or white chicks or female nature actually or even be resentful towards it, it's laughable because the fact that women the fact that women of my own skin tone or women of my own race per se had found me too goofy, now it gave me the freedom to actually to just go and live life to the point where if it wasn't for them, I probably would have never met my wife. So, so something awesome came out of that rejection. The problem that I do have with them, however, is now when they actually trying to guilt trip you into being in a relationship that they don't approve of. And it's kind of like, because I know I'm a valuable guy. I know my value. I know my worth. So any woman would be fortunate to be with me, you know? So then, therefore, they know that as a provider, as somebody that will handle his shit, as a family man, then they would actually would see me as that plan B that got away. As that motherfucker, they would hope that once they're done with the with the pleasure of the flesh, they can now focus on this motherfucker that was and I'm no longer available or disposable. So then it kind of creates a certain level of resentment from black women and black men alike that actually see my relationship with my woman as in like selling out because I guess I'm fucking a chick that they wish they could fuck. So trust me, a lot of these poor black motherfuckers, they're they would fuck a white chick quick. They the reason why they have such a hard time with black women this black woman that is because they can't really go they can't really make that transition from one culture to the next and be comfortable with it. You know, I'm not some people they just more comfortable in a black culture. And some people can make that transition. They're comfortable in like I'm comfortable in black culture. I'm comfortable in white culture. I'm comfortable in whatever fucking culture that you put me in because I know how to read people and I'm a quick learner. I'm very very interested when it comes to cultures. You know, and now as far as my personality, growing up, I wish I was a fuck boy. Like I wanted to be a fuck boy so bad, but growing up with two sisters and then and these motherfuckers listening to Boys to Men and I was a gentleman and a half, right? I was the type of motherfucker that would actually bring flowers on a date. Yes. And then I learned how to be an asshole. Just me and you, Shaolin, we kind of had similar experience. Whereas once I stopped giving a fuck, and it was like a floodgate that opened up to me, and it was like pussy became irrelevant, you know. And now my personality is okay. Like for example, I'm the type of dude I wouldn't do too well at the club because my personality requires me to be able to actually stimulate the mind. And when you're dealing with people that just or women that will just want to be at the club or just searching for the pleasure of the flesh, then therefore it's easy to just go like, all right, you know, he looks like he dressed expensively. All right, I want him. Or he looks like he lives at the gym. He got that six pack and all that shit. I want him. I want. So it's like the attraction is nothing more but carnal. Me, I look like shit. I don't want to look like some motherfucker that just women just want to flood, just want to fuck me. I want it's all right. It's a very dangerous game because what I crave is not pussy. I don't really care whether or not like and then walk away knowing that I could have fucked her if I wanted to. That this is it's like it's like a thief that like to go and break into safes only to find out what's in the safe. The combination, the putting your ears in the door to actually listen, and you hear every click as she's telling you what's her favorite position, and you don't even know who the fuck her, what the fuck is her name. Just for her to be so comfortable around you to actually want to tell you all the bullshit, all the freaky shit that she likes, just to try to impress you, you know. And then you just listen to it like, and then now it's more like it's weird. Like that personality is what my wife loves about me and also hate about me, because which makes it a bit harder for her to trust me 100%, because it's more like, okay, now you could charm any chicks you could come across with, right? But then what if you find yourself in a position to which you can't say no, you can't walk away? Then what? I can't be like, oops, she jumped, she tripped, fell, letting on my dick. You know, I had some level to play in the charming and the initiating some of these conversations, to which now she can actually get so turned on and try to fuck her. So that's why it's I know it's not good. It's like one of those, like, my small guilty pleasure, to which now I can actually just charm a bitch just for the fuck of it. Whether I want to get a free, whether I want to get a free soda at McDonald's, or better service, or just know what's in the safe. It's like it's one of those things, like, I do from time to time, like very rarely, because I try to focus my energy more on other things that brings me more productivity. Like, try to build a career. Well, I already have a career now. Try to build a business, trying to actually build a legacy. That brings me as much satisfaction as me try to find out whether or not how many moves it will take for this bitch to offer me some pussy. You know? So I guess that's where the loophole with the 80-20 rules, whereas, like, my superpower will be charm. Some other dude's superpower would be they can dress nice. Like, when you look at my dad can fucking dress, man. And this dude, I guess it's a Haitian thing. Haitians, we're charmers like a motherfucker. And my dad, till this day, his first wife still want to refer to herself as Mrs. Banaka. You know, it's like when she be talking to my half brother, right? And she be like, well, I don't care what these other women thinking and stuff like that, because to me, I never agree with that divorce. So I'm still Mrs. Banaka, you know. So that's the type of power that my dad have on his exes, to the point that my mom hates his fucking guts. My mom hates my dad's guts, and you would think, like, why? Because the motherfucker brought you over, right? He actually married you, just so he could bring your ass over, along with all his kids and all that shit. If it wasn't for my dad, you wouldn't be here in the States, or we would have to, or you would have to come here at a later date. So then, therefore, you would think that there shouldn't be any animosity. But the power that my dad had over each and every single one of his chicks is like, whenever his presence is no longer around, there's that bitterness. There's that, ugh. It's kind of like, okay, the relationship I have with my wife right now, right? If I was a fuck boy, if I kind of used to be a fuck boy, if I took on the same role as my dad had, to whereas I couldn't control my dick and actually have multiple baby mamas and all that shit, then I would have the same level of resentment, because I know of my quality. The type of quality is the type of quality that women want to have in a husband. Responsible, hardworking, um, you know, charming, all that shit. But at the same time, that weakness also what makes me dangerous. It's kind of like asking Superman not to use his X-ray vision. He could turn it off as much as he can, but from time to time when he's walking towards, the female's bathroom, he might just zzz, ooh, somebody's peeing. So that's the thing. That's the superpower, and it's kind of hard. So now with the 80-20 rule, women that are cultured, they know how to spot a guy that is on his top 20% of his field. You know, he's in the top 20% of an artist. He's in the top 20% as a philosopher. He's in the top 20% as a poker player. So they know how to spot these things. So that's why, but like I said, the people that are not cultured, they're just shallow. They just want to have, that's why a relationship doesn't last because as that infatuation fades, now they're looking for the next fix, the next person that can make that pussy wet because the guy that they were interested in doesn't stimulate the mind. They can only like, fuck the dog shit out of her. But what about the conversation? What can you have a conversation that's gonna so the woman's gonna be like, wow, you know? Or better yet, these broads, what kind of conversation can they even offer a guy that is as smart as you, Shaolin? Because you're a very intelligent brother. So yeah, you might go for the flesh, the Instagram model, or all this. I don't. Matter of fact, I don't even think you even go for the Instagram model like that. All right, I don't. You're not a shallow type of guy. You don't struck me as a shallow type of guy. But in the Western Hemisphere, you have a hard time dating because of your intelligence, because of the fact that women they have to bring something to the table that doesn't even have to do anything with cleaning or cooking because the bitch not your servant, but the mental stimulation. If a woman cannot bring that, it's kind of like this. My girl, if we ever break up and shit like that, let's say she finally got tired of my ass, be like, fuck you, little Haitian motherfucker. I don't want you no more. If she ever got tired of my ass, or it's like it's gonna be very, very, very hard for other women to compete that, and it would not be fair on any of them to put them through that shit to actually try to get them to match the intelligence level of my wife. You know, and to me, it would be like, oh, I'm debating should I fuck her or not because I know how annoying she's gonna be afterward. I think I'll pass. You know, that will be my life if I ever turn out single again because I know how annoying it is dealing with a stupid bitch. Oh, it's so fucking annoying. So that's my take on that. Um. So and anyway, welcome back, Shaolin. I know you've been gone for a while, so I hope you had fun at DR and in Colombia. And Stephen Rose, awesome video. I like it. I haven't even finished the whole thing yet, so I'm gonna finish watching this. So I want you guys to comment. Let me know what you think in the comment section, or just reply to your videos as well, man.